I read in an article that Khilji did not resist the Mongols to save India's culture and civilization. He did it to save himself. But that is true for even Shivaji, Rana, P, or Lakshmi Bai thought. Okay, so first of all, there is this wonderful misconception that Alauddin Khilji defeated Chinggis Khan several times. So that is not the case. Chinggis Khan died at least a few decades before this guy Khilji was born. And what Khilji did was he repulsed some half hearted Mongol invasions, which were not from the main Mongol empire. They were some half hearted incursions into India by some raiding parties or some reconnaissance groups. Those were not full fledged invasions of India. And like you said, he was not doing anything for India's history and culture or civilization. He was doing it to safeguard the empire he had amassed for himself, the kingdom, the Delhi Sultanate. It was all under him. It was Indian territory that he was occupying, that he was extracting from and enriching himself from. So that was what he was trying to protect. He was trying to protect his investment. He was trying to protect the golden goose that he had captured. That is what Khilji was doing. He was not doing anything for the people of India. He was oppressing the people of India, right? So he resisted the Mongols, these half hearted, small scale Mongol incursions, to protect his investment and to ensure that he remained rich and that he remained a king. Now, is it true for Shivaji and other people? I am sorry, I completely disagree. Shivaji did whatever he did for the people of India. So there is something called leadership. What is leadership? Leadership is service of a limited number of people. It is called service of a constituency. You need to know specifically who your constituency is, and you serve only those people. You don't serve the whole world. Leadership is about serving a small number of people or a limited number of people. And the people Shivaji served were the people of India. He re-established Hindavi Swarajya over India. He liberated India, most of India, much of India, from the foreign occupiers. And after his demise, his descendants or his successors went even further, and at its greatest extent, the Maratha Empire went all the way from parts of southern India all the way into parts of Afghanistan, and it liberated India from the Turks, from the Turco-Mongols, the so-called Mughals. So they did not do it. I mean, there is no record in history of the Marathas extracting wealth from the Indian people. They were not exploitative in any way whatsoever, right? They did launch raiding parties and loot cities like Surat, for example, but Surat was under the Mughals at the time, and they did not loot the population, the common people of Surat. They looted the merchants, and those were the benefactors of the Mughals and the Mughal treasury. And so that's what the Marathas did. Whatever they did was to liberate the country and the people from the outsiders, from the foreigners, from the occupiers, from the oppressors. And the same goes for Lakshmi Bai. Lakshmi Bai was the queen of Jhansi. Her job was to serve the people of Jhansi, and that's what she did. If she had become the queen eventually of a larger region, she would have served them too. But as the queen of Jhansi, it was her duty to serve the people of Jhansi, and that's what she died. That's what she did until her dying breath. So one has to look at things in the correct perspective. Leadership is about the service of a limited and specific group of people. If you are the king or queen of a certain region, your primary duty, your primary objective is to ensure the long-term security and prosperity. Once you become the king or queen of a larger region, you will take care of all of them. So Shivaji became eventually the king of great parts of India, of much of India, and his successors had a much larger empire, and they served everybody, all the Indians of that Maratha empire. So that is what it is. Khilji did it for himself. The Marathas did not do it for themselves. They did not enrich themselves at the expense of the Indian people.